Hello guys, today I will predict the results for the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs, and I will confirm all predictions by my own money, betting $300 for each game. What is my strategy? What is the idea? The idea is simple but quite workable. I have tested it on the last 4 playoffs. The idea is to classify all teams that have qualified into playoff on 6 classes based on their place in final standings, number of points, and if needed goal difference. And one more important thing, that we have 8 teams and only 6 classes. So we will combine some teams that stand close to each other. Okay, so let's take a look at Western Conference. What do we have here? Vegas is in the first place, and Vegas definitely goes to the first class. Next goes Edmonton and Colorado. They have the same number of points, so they will have the same class, second one. And next goes Dallas. So Dallas 1 point behind the previous teams, but Dallas has noticeably better goal difference than Colorado, and the 1 point is not so much. So the Dallas will be stuck between second and third classes. That means that for Dallas, we will take the second ranked team and the third class team and see how they played in playoff. Okay, so the next one is Los Angeles. 4 points behind Dallas, so it's definitely fourth class. Minnesota 1 point from LA, and almost the same goal difference, so Minnesota will have the fourth class. And the last 2 teams, so they stay far apart from each other and from the Minnesota, so that's why Seattle has a class 5 and Winnipeg has a class 6. Okay, so the next step is to see how each class plays in playoff. So for Eastern Conference, we see that the favorite wins only when it's clear favorite against clear underdog, and vice versa when the advantage is not so high. So in most situations, underdog wins. And the most interesting thing that for Western Conference, it's pretty the same. So we see that there is no big difference between classes. The underdog wins more often, except maybe the first class, which wins against the class 4, 5 and 6. So that's it. And so let's go to the bracket. Okay, so here we have all pairs. For each team we have a number of class, this small number. The odds taken on Saturday from Pinnacle, and the number of wins and losses for each pair according to teams' classes. So we start from Eastern Conference, and we will compare the odds and the trade-off of wins and losses for each pair. Okay, the first game is between Boston and Florida. So we have odds 1.30. That means that to be positive, we have to win a little bit more than 3 times out of 4, and we have 8 times out of 9. So it's definitely bad for Boston. The next pair is Toronto versus Tampa. So Toronto is stuck between second and third classes. So we sum up all the results for both classes, and we see that in this situation favorite wins 6 times out of 9. So the trade-off is 2 for 1, right? And with this trade-off, to be positive, we need to have the 1.50 odds for a favorite, and we have 1.61. So that means we bet on Toronto. Okay, that's clear. Next pair, Carolina versus Islanders. So the odds for Carolina 1.50. So that means we have to win 2 times out of 3, and we have 4 times out of 5 when the second class plays with the 6th class. So in this case we bet on Carolina. And the last pair in Eastern Conference is Jersey versus Rangers. And that is situation that I have talked about before, when the advantage is not so high. So the second class versus 4th. And we have only 3 games, and all 3 times the underdog wins. So that means with the odds 2 and 6, we will bet on Rangers. Okay, so that's it for Eastern Conference. Let's go to the Western. We start from Vegas versus Winnipeg, and this situation is not so obvious like previous, because we have the coefficient 1.60 for Vegas. That means that each time that we win, we get 60% of our bet. So if we win 7 times, we have 7 multiplied on 6, 42. So that means that for 7 times we win slightly more than 4 bets, 4.20, and we lost 4 times. So for 11 games we slightly positive, but we positive, so that means that we will bet on Vegas. The next 2 pairs, Edmonton versus LA and Colorado versus Seattle. In both situations we see that underdog wins more often, but here we have some important nuance, and that's it. There for both underdogs, the coefficient is very high, 3 and 4 for LA and 3.77 for Seattle. And based on my experience with these high odds, the underdog is not win enough to bet on it. So that's why we skip these 2 games. And the last one is pretty simple. As I said, Dallas is stuck between second and third class. And versus 4th class, we see that favorite wins. Favorite won 2 times, and 4th time it loses. So we have the advantage of underdog, and we have the coefficient 2.21. So it's definitely bet on Minnesota. So that's it with comparing, and let's go to the real bets for real money. As I promised, I show you the all bets that I made yesterday. So here we have Vegas, Toronto, Rangers, Carolina, Minnesota, and Boston. So see you on the next round. We will summarize what we have, and I hope the result will be positive, and I will make the new predictions. Thank you for watching.